Hello everyone, welcome back to GGN. This is part 3 for this news report today for Wednesday, May 29, 2013. My website's ggnonline.com, and on YouTube my channels are ddarko2012 and ddarko2013. Okay, World Bank insider blows whistle on corruption in Federal Reserve. You've probably seen this, but a former insider at the World Bank, ex-senior counsel, says the global financial system is dominated by a small group of corrupt, power-hungry figures centered around the privately owned U.S. Federal Reserve. So that just basically verifies what I was talking about. It says the network has seized control of the media to cover up its crimes too, she explained. In an interview with the New American, she said that when she tried to blow the whistle on the World Bank, she was fired for her efforts. Now, along with a network of fellow whistleblowers, she's determined to expose and end the corruption. She actually cited one report. It says here, 2011 Swiss study published the journal. It was basically about the network of global corporate control. They exert a massive amount of influence over the international economy from behind the scenes. So, corrupt power grabbers. So, and they're being allowed to do it. So, Spain's Bankia decimates savers as stocks plummet. Police officer stabs banker who sold him shares. It says while investors across the globe applaud Bernanke and other central bankers for pushing stock markets to record high, Spain's facing massive losses. It says it's not pretty these days in Spain. A contracting economy and a spiraling unemployment rate are taking its toll on the population. Black market or bust, the stark choices facing many of Spain's self-employed. So, it says every day scores of self-employed workers in Spain fall off the economic radar. So a lot of people are going to the, quote, black market, which I guess could be considered the free market, but they're doing that in Greece as well. They're bartering and stuff, have a little bartering system set up. And, you know, like Bitcoin, people are trying to circumvent this this monopoly of currency or this monetary system. And they get shut down, right? They get shut down because you can't compete with it's. I mean, let's call it what it is—a usury system. It's run by most people at the heads are Jews, so that's who benefits. And see, to me, the sick thing is it's very predatory, and so the people that are willing to sell their souls will get, you know. It's a, you know, oh, the trickle-down effect, you know, oh, everybody benefits. Well, it really benefits if you can sell your soul and make it to the top. But it's super, super hard to make it to the top from the bottom. You know, when you're born, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna stay in that class that you're born in. But that's why they like education, because in education they teach young people that you could be a president and you can do anything. You know, you live in a free democratic society and free markets. Cash-strapped Italians abandoning autos for bicycles. Bikes are outselling cars in cash-strapped Italy, but the cyclists in Milan say their city is ready for a two-wheel lifestyle. So, you know, this is a small revolution in terms of lifestyle. So it's just great and everything, and I'm sure they like that as far as the eco-fascists go and Agenda 21 pushers. Spain, actually, they've had to put locks on their dumpsters to prevent people from dumpster diving for food. So, again, that's another part of Agenda 21. Gina Rinehart calls for sterilization of the poor. Conservative billionaire Gina Rinehart called for the sterilization of the poor today, arguing that the only way to alleviate poverty is to stop the underclasses from multiplying. So there you go. There you go. She's a mining heiress. Maine doctor stops accepting all forms of insurance and cuts prices for treatments in half. So this Dr. Michael Chiampi took a step this spring that many of his fellow physicians would describe as radical. He stopped accepting all forms of health insurance, which I believe is a fraud. And it says here, anyone exists in a free economy, a free market. In early 2013, he sent a letter to his patients informing them that he would no longer accept any kind of health coverage, both private and government-sponsored. So, given that, he was now asking patients to pay for his services out of pocket. He posted his prices on the website. He says it's almost unanimous that patients have expressed understanding at why I'm doing what I'm doing, although I've had many people leave the practice because they want to be covered by insurance, which is understandable. But it says here, doing away with insurance means that he can do it. He could do it the way he sees fit. Insurance companies can no longer dictate how much he charges. He can offer discounts to patients struggling with their medical bills. He can make house calls. He says, I'm providing them a service that they can value, that they can pay me, and we cut the insurance out as the middleman and cut out a lot of the expense. Banks enforce customer dress code. So it's here, while bank robbers don't often make the news due to a recent crime spree in the suburban city of Longwood, Florida, banks are imposing a dress code on customers, prohibiting them from wearing hats, hoods, sunglasses while inside the bank. So, I mean, never mind that all these local banks, as Chota Boy would say, they're all money launderers. They're all thieves. So, they should be lucky to have your quote business, to be able to take your money that you work hard for and then loan it back to you with interest. But no, that's like, it's sickening. U.S. bust Bitcoin-like system, Liberty Reserve in Costa Rica. So it's already happened before. Like I mentioned, now this is the latest story. U.S. authorities revealed on Tuesday they have shut down a Costa Rica-based money transfer company that they say provided a digital currency system widely used around the world by cyber criminals. You see cyber criminals, black market. So that's what they're there for. I mean, people need to pull their heads out of their asses if they really do think that the police are there to protect them or keep them safe. They're serve and protect corporations. They're there to serve and protect the monetary system. No competition with it. No evidence. Chicago red light cameras based on safety. The system has made $71 million last year. Contrary to its claims, the city of Chicago's red light cameras are not based on safety, according to Inspector General. They brought in more than $71 million in revenue for the cities last year. And they actually do increase accidents. The primary criterion of reducing angle crashes to increase safety. So they found no rationale for the program. It's like I said before, just as recently, you can see the lights. They're very short, the turning lights, and they make you sit there through about 5 lights, 5 minutes apiece. You almost had an intersection for half an hour just to turn, and so they know that you're going to go through those yellow lights, and then they snap it, right? Very short yellow lights. Mom's the breadwinner for 40% of U.S. families. Of course, this is the result of engineering society, engineering the economy, and using the economy to get women out of the house. And of course, then that makes them less likely to keep the marriage going. So leads in divorce. Of course, the mothers usually get the child. Some people refer to it to the ISIS court, basically making a bunch of fatherless kids. But in many cases, it's because she's a struggling single parent herself. So. It says here, you better respect your moms. In a skyrocketing number of American homes, she's the one putting food on the table as stay-at-home moms become things of the past. Women are now the primary or only income source for 40% of the U.S. households with kids. But that number may not be cause for celebration, it sounds like, because much of the 40% is made up of struggling single moms. It's like I said before, and this is a well-known fact. I mean, the government's not going to admit it. The pushers of the financial system aren't going to admit it. But they put women in the workforce to increase tax revenue. That's what they did. One of the positive side effects was that it would break up the families, which are the biggest resistors towards government tyranny and that. But it is kind of crazy because you're talking about breadwinners and stuff like that. It's like I said, if they would have just stayed home, then the wages for their male counterparts would have actually not been suppressed. They lowered wages. They didn't just increase tax revenue, but they lowered wages overall. And of course creates what? Gender warfare. I've mentioned this before about how males and females, and I guess there's males that think that they're females and females that think that they're males, whatever they want to call themselves now. They treat each other as financial assets, even males with males or females with females. They don't look at themselves as mates or anything. They look at them as monetary assets, or they look at them with monetary value. And then, of course, like I said, basically someone else to masturbate with, basically, right? Treat each other like they're making a porn flick. So companions. So when the male can't make enough money, when his monetary value decreases, especially when he goes unemployed or whatever, wages go down, then the woman kicks him to the curb, and then with vibrators, internet porn, whatever, she can be completely self-sufficient. At least I guess that's the way it goes. So we have here women in uniform, Duma mulls equal opportunity for female recruits in conscription law. So, and just one last thing, a divorce skyrocketed under the Bolsheviks. They made it easier to get divorced, and they promoted that. So, and this is the same thing that's going on here. It just goes back and forth. They're discussing a proposal to allow Russian women to perform military service, kind of like in the United States. So, when the comment board said, I don't know what they were trying to say, an issue in Russia. Women were in the Red Army 70 years ago, so there you go. Public colleges are often no bargain for the poor. Many public colleges and universities expect their poor students to pay a third, half, or even more of their family's annual incomes each year for college. A new study says here of college costs has found. It says these students are left with little choice but to take on heavy debt loads or engage in activities that lessen their likelihood of earning their degrees, such as working full-time. So see, they like that. Not only, the users, they love this, dude, because not only are they taking on this humongous, gargantuan amounts of loans to get this degree, but then they're working, right? They're working full-time, they're paying taxes, they're paying into the system. And in the end, no one cares about your college degree anymore. So Thomas Friedman says employers care only about whether you can add value. So are you non-white? Are you homosexual? Are you communist? Or like I said before, are you willing to basically sell your soul to this system? Community colleges are a segregated mess. Racial inequality is rampant. We need to fix it. America's community colleges have big problems with segregation and racial inequality, according to new studies. It says here they consider that mostly white colleges average 85 students per staff. It says here, but mostly black ones average nearly 300. It says these may be colleges, but their problems are more like those of public schools than universities. If the schools are located in poor neighborhoods, chances are they are underfunded and offering subpar education. Says the bigger problem is that we've designed a society in which college degree is the basic price of admission to a middle class lifestyle. At least that's what we're told, right? But because low-income students often can't get into the pricier four-year schools, community colleges are their best bet. Says we should either fund them or fix them or change the assumption of a college degree as a basic necessity. Otherwise, community colleges are just the final stop on a lifelong trip of underfunded public educational disappointment for non-white Americans, which is a bunch of crap. Because, like I said, you know how many white middle class can't go to college because they're not a different color, because they're not non-white. I went to a 2-year community college my first 2 years, and I was a minority there, and most of the people there were on some kind of government subsidies. I was, I'm not saying that I wasn't. I was on the VA program, so, but I quote served my country and I paid into the GI Bill, but they're getting these federal grants just because they're color mostly, because as far as the income, $30,000 like we saw in the other article, it's there you go. It's like my parents, they weren't making all that much money, but they couldn't afford to get any kind of financial aid for my sister. So I'm sure I offended a bunch of people, but I'm just speaking my mind. So I'm gonna be wrong. Who knows? And when I'm dead, I guess I'll look back and I'll be like, man, maybe I was wrong about that. That's how I see it. So UK hackers post far-right members' contact details online. So there you go. I think anonymous is, like someone said in the comment board, a CIA proxy. So I see. I told you this was, this anti-immigration thing was going to be turned around into an Islamophobia thing, which, like I said, is a Zionist tactic. They say that Anonymous said, "We will not allow your injustices, your lies, and your stupidity to further radicalize our youth into fearing and despising their fellow man." No, but they do want you to hate your own race. That's what they've done. They've done it to all races, unless, of course, you're Jewish. Some 100,000 Christians killed per year over faith. They talk about extremism investigations. They're talking about not Muslims. but nationalist. Thank you.